Felix, more 7th. Fudge!
Part 2. Azure Moon. Guardian Moon. The Delusional Prince. Prince Dimitri and the remnants of the royal army join with the remaining Knights of Seros to form a revitalized kingdom army. Using Garreg Mach as their base of operations, they rise to action against the Empire.
Each unit has grown over the past 5 years. Yeah, I noticed they probably went up by 2 levels. Gosh, it was me, they would be like at least at to level 35. Not 30. Or probably the other unit's gonna be like 20 something. Check the class and weapons.
You? So you were alive after all.
Hi, Seth.
Professor, it is so good to see you again. My brother and I were worried about you.
Oh, thank the goddess. I couldn't bear the thought of letting Gerald down by not finding you.
Guess you lucked out. We've been looking everywhere for you. But I see Lady Rhea isn't with you. Damn.
Everyone was real worried about you, Professor.
Hey, Cyril, you grown.
Gilbert has told us everything. From here on, our strength is yours as well.
Does my heart well to see that all of you are safe. Now that we have all gathered, let's discuss our next course of action.
We have 2 objectives: to overthrow the Empire and to rescue Rhea. I have no objection to joining forces with you. After all, our interests are aligned.
Nothing could be more reassuring than securing the cooperation of the Knights of Seros.
Thank you. Let's fight together.
The Archbishop entrusted all of her affairs to you. From now on, I shall comply with your wishes.
We'll make Garreg Mach our base, and prepare to make our stand against the Empire. There is a fair amount of damage, but we will at least have shelter from the wind and rain.
Surely those Imperial jerks have this place staked out, right? It's a highly strategic location.
While it may be a strategic location, it's too far from the front lines to be worthy of notice at the moment. This area is inconvenient as far as transport time is concerned, so it's of little importance to their war effort.
Even so, nothing slips past the Emperor. It is safe to assume she at least has this place under surveillance.
Professor, what do you think about making this place our base?
I have no objection.
Fortunately, there are still villages and hamlets nearby, and though I wouldn't call them abundant, we have war funds as well. What do you think, Your Highness?
I don't care.
Do as you please.
Oh,
Hey, don't act like this doesn't concern you. We finally reunited after all this time. We've got to work together.
She's right. In fact, why don't we all join forces and clean this place up a bit?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. And it'll give us time to reminisce about all the good old days at the Academy. I can't wait.
You know what? I'm just gonna keep you with that uniform.
How carefree of you.
It may sound trivial, but, well, I think it's a good idea.
I understand feeling impatient, Your Highness, but patience is key at a time like this. If we fix up our base, it will improve morale, which will be sorely needed as we...
Fools.
Let's all get along.
Stay out of this.
Please, calm yourself, Your Highness. We are not your enemies.
My enemies say the same.
What happened to him? It's like he's a completely different person.
Oh my gosh, Felix! You were the one who said something about bore, bore, bore. Bore, 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 bore. He's a bore, and now you're wondering what happened. Also, 5 years of solitude would do that to you. And almost getting targeted by the Empire for 24/7.
I feel so bad for him. Would it help if I brewed him a nice pot of tea?
He'll probably kill the tea.
I cannot claim to understand how he feels. However, The way he's behaving, it's as though he's being haunted by some unseen force.
I'm worried.
As am I.
Dimitri's still like, eh? Not Dimitri, I mean Felix. God damn it. It's Ingrid's birthday, of course. Let's just give me flowers for now. I need the war funds. I spent all my funds on master classes. Where's a fruit then? Oh, Annette and Gilbert has one. Sweetness. Although I'm probably gonna save that because if I'm correct, there should be only 2 more. That? Yeah, considering that it says both Annette and Gilbert, it means we got Dimitri left. Let me see what the time limit today. I'll go ahead and make my plan. Holy snap! Look at these guys! They look cool! He looks awesome. Happy looks, like a royal. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to meet these guys again. Alright, what was I doing again? Felix, more 7th. Fudge! Falcon Knight. Give it to me. Yes!
I must continue to work hard.
Now she'll put the chalice into good use. But we kinda need to work on that. But that is her Palian class. You know, I could totally see her going more trickster as well because she can be good with a sword. Faith, War Clerk or Veteran. So many options for you to go. Oh, Gilbert, there's a lot of work we have to do for you. Horseman, what's the name of that thing again? The Brigade. Get you to Brigade too. Alright, supports. Of course, I have all these supports. But the support that is going to be that matters right now, or I wish Dimitri. Seeing Dimitri is not even giving his bombs right now. God damn it. The only thing that matters right now is Gilbert, Yuri, Balthus, and Constance. I'll try to get happy, hopefully, this episode. This episode that is going to be full of... It's going to be full of support, isn't it? Oh, we can unlock these 3. We got one for Cynthia here. Constant with Mercedes. Happy has with these 2. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Ingrid and... Let's cover them right now. Yeah, let's cover them right now.
Ingrid, are you familiar with the story of the King of Liberation and the 10 elites of Fodlan?
Of course. They were the heroes who struck down evil with the power of the sacred weapons, protecting our land and people. Their strength was passed down through the ages, manifesting itself in the crest some of us are born with.
Yes, the 10 elites certainly possessed great power. But does that make them worthy of worship?
I imagine you ask because they later fought amongst themselves, turning on one another, ravaging the land.
Precisely. Initially, Nemesis and the 10 elites worked together to bring peace to Fodlan. But soon their ambitions got the best of them, and they clashed, using their sacred weapons on anyone they chose, strong and weak alike. What I mean to say is, possessing strength alone does not make one worthy of respect. Rather, one should be judged by how they choose to use that strength.
Yes, I agree.
If you follow that logic, then you will see it also applies to those who are born with crests. Now think of how your father wishes to wed you to another family's fortune on the basis of your crest.
Yes? What of it?
These are purely inherited qualities. Is it not foolish to judge a person's value by some inherited fortune? That is all a crest is, really.
That's what I think too. Having a crest or not has no bearing on your worth as a person.
I understand that Count Galatea believes he has the right to manage your affairs. I am certain he has his own share of problems. And I do not wish to meddle or lay blame. But if there is anything I should like to say to his daughter, it is this. How you live your life is up to you.
Thank you for your counsel and wisdom, Sedith. I've been thinking a lot lately about what might happen after the war. I will take some time to reflect on what lies ahead. My future.
There you go. Now let's check out, we're not really doing me and Yuri just yet, so let's do our Yuris right now.
Finally, you've arrived. I was beginning to get impatient.
Oh, you got darker.
Have a seat.
I mean, close wide.
What are you on about?
I'm not on about anything. Let's have dinner together, Yuri.
What is this? Did you make it?
I did. It's a simple dish. My culinary skills are fairly basic.
Hold on. What exactly is this about?
You cook for me, I cook for you. That's how this works. It may not be quite as elegant a meal as that of a Drestian or Leicester cuisine, but the food of Fargus is delicious nonetheless.
Thank you for the meal. It was lovely, Ingrid. The flavors were nostalgic. Reminded me of when I lived with my mother and the Elder. I was actually born in a poor town in Fargus. The flavors in this dish remind me of those days. Sorry. I didn't mean to compare a meal made by nobility with the meager food I grew up eating.
No offense taken. To tell the truth, although my house is a noble one, it's also lacking in money. Our territory was struck by famine, and we ate whatever the land gave us, which wasn't much. We took what we could, just like everyone.
I see. Well, I must say that your cooking is quite to my taste. Any meal made with so much thought and care is bound to be delicious.
Why, thank you. High praise indeed, from someone who knows their way around a kitchen.
To survive in this world means to sharpen many skills, whether it's cooking or anything else, really. Although I've got to say, I do enjoy cooking. And if my meals can bring a smile to someone's face, all the better. Celebrating victories with friends, sitting around a table with loved ones, watching someone enjoy the meal I made them. Few things bring me more joy.
Have you ever considered giving up being the Lord of the Underworld and becoming a chef instead?
A chef, huh? You know, that doesn't sound half bad.
If you ever do, I'd come to your restaurant and eat whatever you'd whipped up every day.
I'd like that very much. I'd work extra hard so I could see that lovely smile of yours.
You are just too much. I can hardly maintain my composure around you.
Did I say something wrong?
That's a flirt!
Not at all, Yuri. Not at all.
At least his words is much better than Sylvain's words at the very least. Bernie!
Frigid ocean waters! I can feel them already!
God damn it!
Calm, calm. Just listen to me for a moment. There's something I need to tell you. The reason I worked for House Varley, Bernadetta, was to kill you.
What?
Ha! I knew it. I always knew you were out to kill me. Sink me into the deep, dark, freezing depths. Hold on. House Varley? But why?
As you well know, theirs is one of the 6 great noble houses, the true rulers of the Empire. And you're the heir, the crest. There were tons of people who wanted you wiped out. Like people who want to eradicate House Varley. Or a relative who wants the glory for themselves. That particular breed of treacherous nobility is the kind that'd hire a kid to do their dirty work. The first thing that kid would do, get close to the target by befriending her. Find an inn through, say, An assistant gig?
This kid you're mentioning sounds real. That was you, wasn't it?
Yours truly. My biggest mistake? Getting to know you. I crept into your room one night and readied my blade. The whole thing had been a breeze, up until that moment. I couldn't bring myself to do it. While I hovered there, hesitating, your father came in. You know the rest.
Why are you telling me all this? I'm so confused.
Because I want you to look at it objectively. I was hired to kill you. Your father protected you from me. A filthy assassin. He was looking out for you. You're lucky to have a father who cares for you enough to do that.
Father protected me? He protected me.
Yeah, why would I lie? At this point, I figure it's you who hates me, and not the other way around.
I don't hate you, Yuri. But I mean, I do feel weird. But I don't know how to feel. Can't we just be friends? Like back then?
You want to be friends with me?
You know, this is kind of reminding me of Forze, Kamen Rider Forze. Don't know if anyone knows what Kamen Rider or Forze is, but literally there's a character that's, well, got killed off by who seemed to be his friend, and then later on got revived, and instead of, seeking revenge for that person who betrayed him and killed him in cold blood and all that stuff, it's like, hey, let's be friends again. This is giving me a lot of vibes of that event right now.
The reason you couldn't kill me was because we were friends, right?
Well...
You were my first friend. My very first friend. The first person who played with me. The first person who went on adventures with me. The first...
And you were the first friend I had to baby that much.
What do you mean? Well, even so, you were the first friend who cared for me.
The whole thing was probably a sham anyway. Though even if it was, I did have a lot of fun with you.
I knew it!
I'm wondering how their ending's gonna be, and their pair ending, how's it gonna end up? It's gonna be weird. You're gonna marry someone who was supposedly gonna assassinate you.
Alright, Yurikins, isn't it about time you let go of this grudge? I'm sorry I dragged you out onto the stage, but I can't believe you're still holding it against me.
I bear no grudge.
Then why do you get this stony look and face the other way anytime you catch a glimpse of me?
Oh, Ladybird. Truth be told, when I see you, it reminds me of my own self-loathing, of my past.
Huh. I didn't know you were carrying something like that.
You rose up from your hardships and became the lead singer for a prestigious opera, all on your own, while I made my way through the world by licking the boots of wretched nobles, watching you on stage from the sidelines. It wasn't until recently that I felt a real sense of accomplishment in my life. But recalling that first pivotal moment when I saw you on stage, you were brilliant. You shone like nothing I'd ever seen. Whenever I see you, Ladybird, I'm reminded of that moment. And in that moment, I had never felt so filthy and unlovable in all my life.
That's why you don't like singing? There's got to be more to it than that.
Singing killed his grandmom.
Back then, the Imperial capital was swarming with disgusting nobles, all of them vying for your attention, for the love of the Dorothea. Many were willing to compromise with an inferior substitute. If they couldn't have you, perhaps someone else was capable of singing just as sweetly.
You do what you must to chase your dreams. You say it left you filthy and unlovable, but my life didn't leave me unscathed either. There's not much love left in what I do. There was once, of course. As a child, I lived for singing. No matter how hard times got, I always had that. I counted myself so lucky to have met Manuela and joined the opera. But the more I sang for a living, the less certain I was that I loved it anymore.
You're a tricky one to assess. I can't tell if you're too wise or too naive for your own good. Whether or not your heart's in it now, you certainly didn't appear to hate it back then. I'd never seen you beam so brightly, as you did when you helped me train for the performance.
You might be onto something. I felt genuinely happy in that moment.
You just lost your spark for singing. Nothing more. It's how I feel about it in a way. How about this? Why not join an opera that doesn't have dealings with nobles?
That's a great idea, actually. We'll start something new together, you and me.
I don't know about all that now.
The world is full of people who fell through the cracks just like us. We'll take them in whenever we can and aim to become Fodlan's premier opera company. I can't remember the last time I was this fired up. Though we'll have to table it until after the war.
Huh. Our own one-of-a-kind traveling opera. You know, that does sound fairly thrilling. I've no doubts it could help deepen our pockets.
Leave it to you to take all the romance out of it. But I know you're an idealist deep down.
Takes one to know one. I must say, I do enjoy seeing your mischievous side at work.
I'll take that as a compliment. I could say the same for you, too. It's exactly why I'm comfortable sharing this stream with you.
That was alright. Balthus and Lysithea. Gonna have to raise with Hilda and all this stuff.
Little Lysithea. These ears miss nothing, you know.
What are you on about this time?
Is it true that Count Ordelia plans to relinquish his title eventually?
Yes, but why are you asking?
I approve, that's all. Throwing off the shackles of nobility to live freely, it's a beautiful thing.
I would ask that you refrain from painting them with the same brushstrokes that you so liberally paint yourself with. My mother and father will carry on with all the associated duties befitting of nobles. Only after that will they retire.
Got it. And that's completely different from someone like me who tapped out of the nobility game, right? Your parents are exemplary nobles, that's for sure. I respect that you support them as much as you do.
Would you just stop? You're embarrassing me.
Can't be helped. Meant every word. If anyone should have red cheeks, it's me, given the choices I've made.
I'm sure you had your reasons.
Of course. Still, it is a bit cowardly of me not to stand up to my family a bit more. Honestly, it's since getting to know you that I've started thinking along those lines. One day soon I'll return to that house. The reception will be chilly at best. Still, it must be done. My house is full of lowlifes. But it also has my little bro, who took over when I left. He's good people. Even with the difficulties in Leicester, our house is still going strong. That's his doing. That's why I've decided that it's time to talk to him about what can be done to help Count Ordelia.
Repaying your perceived debt would be nice, sure. But it sounds like you intend to foist your responsibility onto your little brother.
Ah, but the two aren't related. This is just the right thing to do. I'm still pondering how best to fulfill my vow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. You don't believe me, do you, little lady?
Just what exactly are you planning on in terms of this repayment?
After your family relinquishes their noble titles, I'll support them so that you can all live in peace.
Even though you're a lowlife?
That may be true, and it is, but consider this. I've seen life from both sides, as a noble and a vagabond. When their situation changes, they'll face new challenges. I'm the perfect guy to help them through.
You're irresponsible and unreliable. But clearly, you're not a bad person. And your support would be most appreciated. Just so you're aware, however, we have no means with which to pay you. So, are you sure you're still willing to follow through with this?
I wasn't planning on doing this for a payout, but if you really insisted on a thank you gift, well, you could always accept me into your family. Then paying me wouldn't be a consideration.
Excuse me? Just what are you insinuating?
Don't think too hard about it just yet. I still have lots of debts to pay and affairs to settle. In the meantime, let's just stick close together. Yeah?
Now I'm more interested in figuring out Hilda's thing. Her support with Balthus, I mean.
What's the use? Even with all I've learned, I still don't understand.
Hello, Constance. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Not at all. I was just in need of a sympathetic ear. I found a magical scroll, which, unless I am mistaken, should relieve me of my woes.
Oh, wonderful!
Not so fast. The magic within this scroll is a type I have neglected to study. It pains me to admit this, but it may take decades of going back to the basics to grasp it.
Decades? That's a long time to spend with your nose buried in an old piece of parchment.
Why must the goddess dangle a solution before me, only to cruelly pull it away?
There's no need to despair. To tell the truth, I like you just as you are.
You do? Why? Those low moods of mine have never done anyone the least bit of good.
Speak to yourself, they're hilarious.
You're like a little sister to me. Nothing you do will change that. Not even a little bit.
Really?
Of course, you're my sweet Constance, and I like you just as you are.
I see. Perhaps my moods are not the great burden I thought they were.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pressure you. No matter what decision you make, I support you.
I felt no pressure, I assure you. It's more that I feel embarrassed to have been embarrassed. I'd put so much effort into finding a magical means to alleviate myself that it never occurred to me that maybe all I needed was to accept myself.
What will you do with the scroll you found?
Oh, I'll continue to research it, for research's sake if nothing else, but I may have no need of it. It's not as if these moods of mine have ever hampered my efforts to restore my house. And I am as a sister to you, no matter which face I present, yes? Nothing, no mood, no foe, no obligation, will keep me from honoring my sisterly duty to protect you.
We can protect each other.
Good, it is settled. Now we can begin the hard work of reclaiming our titles.
Absolutely. We'll become sister sages and restore our houses to their former glory.
You understand the plan perfectly. If we walk this path together, it can only end in triumph.
Alright, and Happy got 2. Well, she cannot get to Dimitri yet. Dimitri's in moody mood.
This is why I keep telling people we need to keep her underground. It's a miracle that no one was hurt. Next time, we may not be so lucky.
What makes you so certain this incident was caused by her sighing? It seems unfair to cast blame until you're truly sure.
Isn't it obvious? A horde of monsters appeared out of nowhere and attacked us.
Uh-oh. You guys are talking about me, aren't you?
There you are. You won't get away with this crime. I'll make sure everyone knows who was to blame.
Hey, you didn't answer my question.
He doesn't care what we have to say. Forget about it.
No, you told me you had nothing to do with this. I can't just leave it alone.
Yes, you can. And you don't need to worry about it.
But I do. What if they pressured you into confessing something you hadn't actually done? They mean well, but they seem to think they have good reasons to suspect you. Those suspicions could lead to forceful questioning. They'll do anything to get to the bottom of this.
You're probably right. If he has his way, they'll do whatever they can to pin it on me. What about you? There isn't some part of you that agrees with that creep?
No. I know you don't sigh unless you absolutely can't help it. You would never endanger people like that unless something pushed you over the edge. I know this wasn't your fault. You said as much, and I believe you.
That's sweet. But unfortunately, your conviction isn't good for much on its own. We have no proof.
Then we'll find proof. If you didn't cause it, then something else did. We just have to find out what. I'll investigate the site where we were attacked. There could be a monster nest nearby.
You're so darn trusting, Freckles. For all you know, I could be lying.
Your commitment to honesty is as strong as mine. You'd never turn your back on our common bond.
You're just like the Luna Knight.
Hey, come on. I was being serious.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, I promise. I guess part of me was hoping to meet one of those storybook heroes. Now I finally have.
If that's how you feel, then I'm going to live up to it. I'll do my best to make sure you never sigh again.
That was cute. I love it. I really love that. What do you have to say, Linhart? Experiment. Get rid of that power first.
This path isn't the right way either. Why do epic quests always involve a lot of legwork?
Because it involves a lot of work.
Well, Abyss is a big place. Maybe it's time to start on your next epic quest. Giving up and going home. People are dying up there after all. We don't have time for this sort of thing.
What sort of thing? You? I'd say you're way more important than the pursuit of war. More interesting, too.
Yeah, and the next big thing in Christology. How flattering. You gotta stop saying things like that or someone might get the wrong idea. Lucky for you, I'm used to your weirdness by now.
I'm sorry my sincerity rubbed you the wrong way. I meant what I said, but that's fine. Now, back to your ability. I've discovered that this power can be attributed to your blood. The magic originates from your crest. There have been leaps and bounds in research on summoning magic focused on an arbitrary target. The only remaining problems are perception and distance, though it could be argued that...
Blah, blah, big words, blah. I don't even get what you're saying.
You don't have to understand it to appreciate its implications. Here's the connection. Once we understand your power, it's essential that we have a theoretical grasp on how to control it.
All right, I'll do my best.
That isn't as scientific as what I had in mind.
I'll probably need your help wrapping my head around the theoretical stuff. You up for that? No pressure. Well, people might die if you say no, so some pressure, I guess.
Huh? Why me? I guess it can't be helped. I suppose foisting this task on Professor Hanneman would be a waste of my precious efforts. This isn't what I had in mind, but I guess I'm the only man for the job, come to think of it.
Sounds great. Hey, if you're tired, there's no shame in calling it a day and heading back to the surface.
It's more walking than I expected. I've lost sleep over this. But you're way more important than a... Oh, right. You don't like me when I'm sincere. Well, let's get on with the adventure then. We'll check out that hidden passage next. We've got to find that book that Timotheus is said to have left behind. Come along.
Fine. But what if we don't find the book, and you can't figure out a way to solve this?
I've come this far. Now I've got to see it through to the end. How will I ever nap in peace otherwise?
Sounds like we might be stuck together for a while.
Linhart, he'll do anything for his research. Even if it means... Okay, well anyways, let's just go ahead and explore. Pretty sure this can be too short video. Oh, cool. Out of the door and into a new support. Ah!
Another failure! How? Was there an error in my calculations? I had precious few materials as things stood. Where will I get more once these run out?
You know, I should really change his outfit. I'm really sorry.
Oh,
don't act so rueful. You carried out my directions faithfully. Neither the credit nor the blame ought to be yours. My grand achievement is further away than I had hoped. House Nouvelle's future seems so dim. You're correct, of course. I mustn't be discouraged. It is hard to maintain one's patience after 5 years. But in the greater context of the history of House Nouvelle, 5 years is barely worth counting. I have been in a low place indeed to require so much reassurance. And for your reassurance, I am truly grateful. You have spurred me to continue my research. You've been useful to me in many ways, in fact. Research assistant, confidant, test subject. All of this is preparing you well for your greater role to come.
Which is...
my personal attendant. There are few as naturally servile as you in all of Fodlan. When House Nouvelle is at long last restored, we simply must find a proper position for you.
My proper position is ruling over Earth, alright? Shush, lady. Is what I think.
Granted, this will be difficult, perhaps even impossible to accept, given your current status. But I rarely let the impossible stop me. I shall see it all done. The restoration of my house, installing you as my servant, and more. Are you ready for the next steps?
I'm glad you perked up.
Oh, come now. My sulk ended minutes ago. Do keep up. But on the rare occasion that I find myself at a loss, I grant you permission to lift my spirits.
I see, sure, of course, sure.
I don't know that I care for the hint of resignation in your tone, but no matter. I expect you to do your all for the sake of my house nonetheless.
Whatever. Look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff. No. And they're all back in the biz. Oh. Oh. No, please take the present.
Hey, you.
Might as well do all the support before I
Hey!
start the video.
If you don't mind.
Or something.
I have a favor to ask.
I get this. Oh, the second one, Yuri. Awesome.
Looks like I've got them all.
Am I interrupting?
Nah, just wrapped up what I was doing. Need something, friend?
Is that what you're just wrapping up?
Oh, you mean this? I use it to write down the names of everyone I've lost over the years. We lost a lot of lives back in the war. Some of them were only with me a little while. Some of them were family to me.
What do you write? So what you wrote in your old notebook
is what I write in this one. I used the old one to practice writing like the Elder taught me way back when. Then I repurposed it. Somewhere along the way, I figured I should record the names of those I've lost. The ones I failed to protect. There's nothing we can do for the dead, not in this world. Not really, anyway. And it's not like we know what happens after. So writing their names down here, that's all just for me. For the one who's still around. After all, they deserve to be remembered. Even if they're not here to see it. We all shared the same dream. They lost their lives to build that dream. And as their leader, it's on me to remember them, however I can.
That's a heartfelt gesture.
Oh, you think so, do you? And here I thought I was just the heartless villain in your eyes. Well, anyway, make of my notebook what you will. It doesn't matter much to me. If you go before I do, I'll make sure to add you in here as well.
They're putting my name in your notebook.
You heard me. I mean, you're not exactly one of my people, per se. At this point, I do have to admit that I can count on you. I kinda get the sense that if I hang around you, that dream I've been grasping for will become all the more real. So, do me a favor and don't go dying on me, okay?
Same to you.
It'd take a lot to get rid of me. I was born under a particularly lucky star. Cat got your tongue? Looks like you want to say something but don't know how.
Just so much talk of names, yet I don't know yours.
That again? You don't give up easy, do you? Alright, I'll toss you a bone. My name's not actually my name, but it's the one I'm enrolled with here at the Academy. The one I've hung on to as the adoptee of House Row. Come to think of it, the last I heard someone use my real name was... a very long time ago. From my mom. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll tell you. Perhaps if you decide to pursue that dream alongside me, you'll find out.
You know, if I support you by the end of this route, if you don't tell me, I'm going to be really cross. And end that support. And, you know, I'll say it right now. If he doesn't tell me his name, if I support him, that is, if I want to support him by the end of this route, I'm going to just start over the final fight just so I could support with someone else. You've broken my heart.
Hey, I could use a hand.
Pirates.
I need a favor.
Dealing with deserters. Got it. Oh, Gilbert. I knew I forgot someone.
Dear Goddess, please allow His Majesty to rest in peace. Who is it? Oh, Professor. What brings you here at this hour?
I was taking a walk.
The hour is late, Professor. You should be resting in preparation for the day to come.
What were you doing?
I was offering my prayers to the Goddess. It is all that I can do now. I told you I was in service of the royal family, yes? When I was only a young soldier, the king saw fit to make a knight of me. I was given the great honor of guiding and protecting the royal family.
Guiding?
It was similar to your own work. I was a teacher of sorts. I instructed both King Lambert and Prince Dimitri in the arts of combat, tactics, and academia. I also did all in my power to keep them safe. Until that day, I was unable to fulfill my duty. I was powerless.
You mean the tragedy of the skirt?
Yes. When I received word of the attack, it was already too late. His Majesty was dead, along with many knights and soldiers. If only I had made it to Duscur more quickly. It is my fault that His Highness Dimitri has become the way he is now. After that, I abandoned my wife and child and fled my homeland. I turned my back on everything I swore to protect. My sins are countless. I will bear the weight of my guilt for as long as I live.
You're going about this the wrong way, man.
Apologizing to my daughter and wife, devoting myself to His Highness. That is the way to atonement. And yet, even if I am granted the forgiveness of those who still live, praying is all I can do to atone to those who are with us no more.
Praying won't help you atone. I got something.
Long ago, there was someone who told me something quite similar. Forgive me. This will not do. As I grow older, I find myself talking endlessly about the past. But it is too late for such things now. I have finished my prayers. We should return.
I wonder who's the one who told you that. Could it be my dad? Not my dad. How I say is Gerald. What I meant to say is Dimitri's daddy. There he goes, bosses.
I see. By any means necessary, then. Before the war's end. I'm covered, but just to be safe, I need you to check on my mother and Kupala.
Kupala's your brother?
Still following me, huh? We have got to work on those manners, pal. Unless you really meant that bit about protecting me.
Kupala?
That's where my mom was born and raised. I pay a spy money I don't have to keep an eye on the place.
I see.
Whether I'm above the dirt or below it. It's up to me to make sure my stepmother can't get to my mom.
Will your stepmother really harm her?
No doubt about it. She's been honing her crazy plans lately. All because I've taken to fighting at your side.
Ah, god damn it.
She thinks I'm making a name for myself before my glorious return to House Albrecht. Being delusional is her sport. There's little advantage to her going after my mom, but she's unpredictable. Gotta stay vigilant.
What's her mother like?
Guess I haven't talked about her. After her and my pop split, she returned home. Where she's from, it's kind of an odd place. You know the folks who live in the mountains of the Alliance? Guessing that's a no. Few do. Imagine a place with no influence to speak of. Nestled in the mountains on the Almiran border. That's Kupala.
People live there?
Well, they're not mountain goats. And it's not like they never interact with the Lords of the Alliance. They're incredibly isolated, though. Even their trade relations are remarkably limited. Doubt that'll change. The land lacks resources worth fighting over. Probably for the best, honestly. Oh, but back to my mom. She was different. An exception to the rule in Kupala. She left the mountains, was rescued by my dad, and fell madly in love with him.
Did his family accept her?
Ah, the 1 million bullion question. Of course not, he's a noble. She isn't. Acceptance was never in the cards. My birth helped matters, but only a little. House Albrecht just wasn't where she belonged. My dad was in a tough spot. He was obligated to marry a fellow noble and produce a fitting heir. Nobody'd want to live out their days where they're utterly unwelcome. So my mom returned to Kupala.
I see.
Then it happened. I was enrolled in the Officers' Academy at Garrick Mach, and everything changed. During my enrollment examination, they discovered that I bear the major crest of Chevalier. My dad decided to resist his family's wishes and make me the head of the house after I graduated. Thing is, the truth of my special crest was kept a secret by decree of the church. He couldn't tell anyone about my prized bloodline, so I was forced to step down as the legitimate heir.
Why was it a secret? Like, if I didn't know about it already?
It was for the best. My crest was inherited from mountain folk who prefer to keep to themselves. Imagine what would happen to Kupala if it got out. We both know it would destroy their way of life.
People would do anything for a rare crest, would they?
Too true. I'm guessing the church thought my crest would cause trouble in Fodlan. But don't get me wrong. No matter what life's thrown at me, I'm no victim. Like I've said, I prefer it this way. I've got to be free. Even if things were different, I'd still choose this life. But I can't let my mother and her people pay the price for keeping peace in Fodlan. Wouldn't be right. All I can do is make a name for myself in battle and secure enough power to protect them. Failure isn't an option.
That's pretty nice. He's a big mama's boy. Let's see if we can get Happy to hopefully go to the next level with me. Happy, joy. Bothless joy. Oh, I actually did. Just that I can't do anything until later. I probably wasted us. Ah, fudge. Fudge. But she didn't get any support, so it doesn't matter. It's still worth it. Okay. If this is the end of this video, then at least I saved the next one to talk with everybody and everything else. Sweetness.
Reach for my hand.